There she is, my lovely bride. I am all dressed and prepared for our wedding. Thank you, stranger. Bless you. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to seal my bond with a ring and a kiss. Any last words for a crusty bachelor? My nymph! She just fouled that disgusting Etin with a glance. Beauty kills even the beast, so they say. Did you not see her wiggle her way to the cliff overlooking the lake? It's where we first met, you know. A grand spot for our union. Well, friend, if there's nothing else, I'm off. You're welcome to witness the event if you care to. What are you talking about? That was my nymph. Have you not heard tales of them? It's staring you right in the face. Well, I'm not going to stand here and suffer the unfounded insults you keep slinging. I'm going to my wedding. Here goes nothing. That was no nymph, stranger. You see enough sadness in your life and you look for hope where you can. But you were good enough to save me from that beast. Now, I ain't a rich man, you know, but I do have this to give you. It's my wedding ring. Now, I don't mean nothing by it. I've pissed on Imelda's memory enough. Seems fair I give up what hasn't been taken. I've been a fisherman on these shores since I could cast a net. Even the Etin leave me be. Used to be this was the Holmes Lake. But I lost my wife Imelda to fever, and my nephew abandoned me to go to Dyden Hill. And now I'm just an old man content to die in the house my family built here years ago. They're hostile enough normally. But of late it seems like a couple have become struck with divine inspiration. The kind that makes the Etin go to war. If they keep this up, we might have an Etin war party on our hands. If only someone might take care of those shamans first. Not much here anymore besides the Etin and myself. We get the occasional traveller, but it's not often. It ain't much. Just a small charm that she had when we were wed. When fever took her, I mounted it on her grave. And then one of those two-headed bastards pried it off. Carried it to the lake, giggling like a pair of fools. Wouldn't dare follow the beasts there. But if you... well, you've helped me enough. Thank you. You're a kind soul indeed. The Etin took to the shore as soon as I saw him. He's somewhere on the lake's edge, I'm sure of it. One of those Etin took it and headed south, along the shore. He's somewhere on this lake. I know that much.
Well, look at what we have here. Truthfully, I never expected to see another civilized soul out here in Ettenmere. Something about the giant hairy monsters must keep people away. Good to meet you. The name is Ray Kildine, purveyor of fine sage-crafting goods and friend to the House of Ballads. Sure, Wenson and me are close friends, like brothers. And he doesn't mind at all if I camp outside the oratory here. Just so long as I clean up my mess. I've been out here for weeks. Getting in is the easy part. It's getting back out that will get you killed. Lucky for me, Wenson and his friends have their oratory out here. Whatever an oratory is. They've never let me inside. Apparently he's a legendary knight of the House of Ballads, its ruler. But I've never seen him slay anything. He doesn't even own a crown. I don't call any one village or city home. No, I'm a wanderer by nature, a merchant by trade. Most people just assume it's because I'm a restless spirit. Actually, it's because my wife wants me dead. If the two of you ever meet, don't tell her you found me. Please. She's terrifying. It's a mystery to me. Fae come and go, but none of them ever pay me much mind. A while back, one of them dropped something in passing. They called it a cairn. I had it in my possession for one glorious night, before they pried it from my grip. Magic, I suppose. They don't seem to do much of anything on their own. I heard Wenson mention something about an echo stone, but I don't know what that is. Sounds like trouble to me.
Welcome, Lady Sagril. May I congratulate you on your victory in Gorguath. I am Queen Bellmaid, love of King Wenson and Grand Lady of the House of Ballads. I do not speak of my exploits, unless to warn against the pride that engulfs all who celebrate the telling. We are symbols of a greater truth, not the truth itself. I am best known for my infiltration of the Maid of Windermere's kingdom beyond the hills. It was I who shattered her ambitions to topple the Summer Court. He represents all that is pure and just in the Summer Court. He is the vibrancy of life, what the Winter Court has always sought to darken with its decaying ways. She is our nemesis. The villain we in the House of Ballads are destined to thwart through all the seasons of the telling. If there is trouble, the maid is at its origin. It is likely that you do not understand our need for continuity, our desire to repeat the past for the good of the coming future. What then is your drive to create a bloodline? There is no difference. The House of Ballads is our family tree. It is the sire we look to for wisdom. The Fae of the East are not our enemies. We count them among our kind. At least we did. Times change. That is such a mortal thing to say. It is difficult to see from its current condition, but the Oratory was once the finest venue for performances of the Summer Court canon. The voices still linger. We regaled many a king under the Oratory's grand canopy, but those seasons have passed. Our time has passed. This realm is at the mercy of cycles, of seasons, and the role of the Fae is no different. The telling is the ongoing story in which we all play an integral part. Hello, I'm Lady Olaine. What do I call you? I prefer names to titles. Sometimes we here at the House of Ballads can get a little caught up in the veneration. Of course. You're Sagral now, as it should be. Welcome. Call me Olaine. The others will never call me anything but Lady Olaine, Knight of the Golden Knot, Destroyer of Sreng, and Keeper of the Fenian Cycle. I won a seat in the House of Ballads many seasons ago. Back then I was lost, and I desired a new telling, one with meaning. Your kind might call it a purpose. He's an incredible creature, unique in every way. No other Fae hero has grasped the imagination of our people like he has. No one knows why it is happening. Not even Hallam the White. Yet every day we can feel it. Like a shiver of coming autumn. A deadly frost on the morning air. I believe it is due to what the Tuatha have wrought with their flames of war. The world burns. None of us can escape the cleansing fire. I have not met one myself, but there is word that Tuatha have been glimpsed in the shadows of western Dalantarth. Our kind survives by the grace of nature, and there is nothing natural about the Tuatha. When the roots are poisoned, the fruit spoils on the vine. Mortals have kingdoms and tribes and nations. We Fae are connected to one another by a deeper understanding, a magic from which we've all been born. The Court of Summer is a circle of elders that, for lack of a better word, governs our kind. It may seem silly to outsiders, but the Court of Enchantments has become very meaningful to the Fae of the Summer Court. Our songs live on despite the decline in magic. Faemor was no friend to his kind even before he was cursed. It is good that Ferrara's lot in the telling is to end the fiend's days. He deserves it.
When Hallam told me a mortal had taken the open seat, I did not believe him. But here you stand before me. Impressive. It is a pity about Sagral, a grand hero. But there's not time to raise the king's token in his honor. We need every hand carrying a sword for the coming battle. We've come to aid Sir Ferrara, our brother in the Court of Enchantments. It is time for his telling of the Ballad of Bloody Bones. It is a ballad of obsession and sacrifice, one of the summer's oldest. Bloody Bones was not always as a terror. No, he was once called Famor, a counselor to Issa himself. Sadly, he was driven by lust, and by his need to possess whatever he desired. Taking Lord Issa's lover, he fled with her to his hollow of Uduath. When the maiden was rescued, Issa cursed Famor. He could not die, and his soul would never enter the great cycle. He became an abomination, known only as Bloody Bones. Every few seasons, Bloody would emerge and steal away a maiden to make his bride. That is, until he took the beloved of Sir Ferrara. He is one who prefers action to discussion. A tempestuous firebrand who would rather pursue the mortal flesh than any other of life's mysteries. That is why his ballad is such a stirring one. Ferrara will always be the lovable rogue who finally chooses another over himself. Timeless is what it is. It is an amulet worn by all King Wensons in the telling. I wear it, as have all the kings who rose and fell at the mercy of the seasons. Only he who wears the king's token is worthy of walking in Wenson's stead, of singing the most important songs of the summer court. We are legendary champions of the telling, brought together for the purpose of ensuring summer court glory for seasons to come. Like all other Fae in the Western lands, I am a subject of the Court of Summer, our wise council of elders. They are responsible for the well-being of our kind. I do not speak of magic with a knowing tongue, but I do know that the persistence of Fae songs is eternally linked to the enchanted lore stones in which they exist. When mortals began to use magic to create, change, and even destroy their own lore stones, it was decided that the ballads of the Summer Court needed better protection. The cairns are a new kind of lore stone, Hallam's way of keeping outside influence from affecting our stories, from corrupting them as the days pass and seasons transpire. There is no need to kneel. Honestly, I wish I could do away with all this king nonsense altogether. The tragedy we face, it is not legend. It is real. It is now. Yes, I am the acting Wenson, but the true king has been gone for many seasons. I am the fifth such Fae to hold the title, and at times like this, I wish I did not. Few know the truth of the House of Ballads, that we are not the actual heroes of myth. Those knights have gone, passing into the cycle, or moving on to nobler adventures. However, it is our wish for the great songs to endure, that seasons of Fae would sing them before the fires. True power is in returning to what matters. So the House of Ballads was established, and worthy warriors were found to act in the roles of Wenson, Bellmaid, and the others. To tell these tales is a great honor. Ferrara went in pursuit of his nemesis, for Bloody Bones has emerged, poised to abduct a maiden to be his mistress. So goes his song. You will need to revive Ferrara after the battle. I can only assume Hallam would not have sent you unprepared for this task. Go to Ferrara, and quickly. When the two of you finish, I will await you at the House of Ballads in the north. Do be careful, Sagril. Uduath is northwest, on the shores of Ettenmere. It is sealed by a powerful spell, but Bloody's magic is weak, and you should be able to gain entrance. Good luck.
These are Shine and Shadow? I was sent to recover artifacts of importance, not simple weapons. The Templars are going to think me a fool. How am I to return to them with these? There's like to be more dignity in returning empty-handed rather than bringing back such a small trinket. If you want them, they're yours. And I suppose I promise compensation in return for your service. I can't say I'm happy about it, but here's your coin. Now, leave me be. I had expected that they might be something like a miniature sun, a battery which held an intense magical reservoir. The Scholia Arcana had theorized about these kinds of objects, but I hoped the gnomes might have discovered them first. My business is done here. I'm getting out of this horrible place and traveling back to Odessa. Their impudence seems tied to their devotion. From what I can tell, a small number of prominent shamans are rallying them. If someone had a head on their shoulders and a blade, then toppling those shaman would help pacify the area. I'm off to Odessa to bring them the sad news of the expedition.
You found it after all. For Imelda's sake, I'm glad you didn't leave it with that monster. But I have a few coins left to my name, and you can take them. And the bed's free for your use whenever you care for it.
Mortal? Is this Wenson's idea of humor? Well, you look hardy enough. Won't botch the tale of Bloody Bones too badly, I suppose. Still, I'm curious as to how Hallam expects you to bring me back from the edge of the Great Cycle. But that's his problem, not mine. They are Almain. Settlers from the west, searching for a place to plant their flag. Poor creatures. I've never seen such terrible luck. Camped just outside Uduath, right in Bloody Bones' warpath. Better they had cut their own throats. A kinder fate. A close companion he was. A true brother in your mortal understanding of the word. I trusted him. I had to, as he played such a vital role in my most memorable song. Is there any other way to view the warrior who saves your life time and again? The Duke of the Cursed Fomorians, slayer of Pombero and protector of the Mabinogi. But you may call me brother. I have fought with the lords and ladies of the Court of Enchantments for 3 seasons. My skills with the blade, and in the bed, know no equal. You dustlings have a similar concept. I believe you call it death. But there is no elegance in your mortality, no poetry. Those of my kind perish, only to have their magic pass on into the Great Cycle, where it returns in kind. Reborn into a world that welcomes such new beginnings. I've always known my place as being among the heroes of the court. What other outcome could there be for one so deserving of adoration? Let me be truthful with you, Dustling. I've never seen Bloody Bones act so erratically. He cares nothing for the story, as if he craves a different outcome. Instead of spiriting away a young mortal maiden, he took an entire camp. Men, women, children. It's mad, and certainly not part of the tale. And I thought this ballad couldn't get any worse, considering my impending demise. Well, let's get this over with, shall we? Back to work. They could be anywhere. Bloodies around here. Somewhere. The kidnapped mortals have been here for days. Their condition worsens, if they're still alive at all. Bloody makes his home in the vast hollow of Uduath. It was once his clan home. I'd suggest we separate, but this hollow is a bottomless pit when explored alone. The hunt goes on. Place gives me chills.
Bless you.
The kidnapped mortals have been here for days. Their condition worsens, if they're still alive at all. May your gods be with you.
So the witch was right. Help has come from Sir Ferrara the Fair, who flounders in the puddles of Uduath. Such a champion should never lose his way, not in his own song. You, new knight, leave now, forsaking the last prisoners, and I will share with you my knowledge. How I came to change things. Stay, and you'll have nothing but corpses. They are safe, but while mortals have no cares, they also have no time. I can keep them here in Uduath for as long as I wish, until they are but dust. Oh, I don't know who she is. I don't care. What concerns me is power. The power to end this pitiful design. In every song, the summer champion triumphs. His enemy falls. How long has this been the way of the telling? This existence. It is not a life. It is not a death. It is a snare in which I have struggled for centuries. No more. That's true. My intent was never to do harm. All I want, all I have ever wanted was love. Not to be alone in my eternal grief. Fine. The prisoners are free to go. But you shall take their place. You shall be Bloody Bones' new desire.
Time to travel, Sagril. Well done, Sagril. You have proven yourself worthy of the name. Hallam's trust in you was not misguided. I don't know what to make of Bloody's tale, but it has the ring of truth to it. We must return to Wenson and tell him what we've learned here in Uduath. keep moving.
What's this? Rogue's blood on my boots.
Greetings. Welcome. You're welcome in the keep, as long as your honor's intact. Dead? Each and every one? Well, you certainly rose above the call of service. You've earned your pay, and then some. Good then.
The hero returns. I am relieved to see you well. What is happening? First Sagril, and now Bloody Bones. These are shocking developments. Listen, Hallam and I have been discussing what transpired in Uduath. You are needed for a very special quest, a song of your very own. You must travel to the home of Tenwa, also known as the Librarian. It is an important journey, not without its perils. I know little about the Librarian. Only that she and Hallam have spent many seasons studying the ebbing tides of magic and how best to preserve our balance. She is an odd creature, quite aloof and reclusive. From what I've heard, she enjoys the scholarly arts of men with all their brittle, ink-stained quirks. Do not rouse your mortal worry for Hallam. He has left the court seeking answers to our many questions. He will return in time. If someone is corrupting the songs of this great house, Hallam will find them. He is the storyteller, and he knows our ballads better than anyone. Do not stray too far from the Court of Enchantments, Sagril, for Hallam has requested you for this mission, and Hallam does not make demands lightly.
Glynel, I assure you it's an ancient codex, just like in the tales.
Intriguing. And why would such a thing be revealed to a child of dust?
And here I was beginning to think that you'd never show up. This is Glynel, Lore Master of the House of Ballads. Give the codex over to him, and he may have your answers. I'm a woman of many talents, and we're all taught that we must use our talents for the greatest good, right? The Codex of Fate is no simple lore stone. It's more subtle and complex than any mortal could comprehend. But a lore master of ballads may be able to interpret it. We are the charmed, the subtle, and the inspired. In happier days, we were the loftiest of the mortal races. We despise open war. But for decades, the Tuatha have been at war with us, pushing into our lands and forcing us to take up arms. For a long time, they were content to keep to their play of the summer and winter courts. Now we fight Gadflow and the Tuatha for our very existence. A close friend once told me, Strive to be whatever you want to be. Fate might be a lie, but if it isn't, then worrying about it won't change a thing. Lionel's one of the greatest balladeers amongst the Fae, and the most learned lawmaster you'll find outside of Issa. And as it happens, he owes me a favor. The Fae do not have a written language, so their tales are their lifeblood, their history, and their future all in one. The House of Ballads is where they enshrine these legends and celebrate them, time and again. The Summer Court, or the Seelie Fae if you prefer, embody the growth and energy of nature, but they can still be as aloof and uncaring as a brutal summer day. The current High King of the Fae is Titarian, the wisest of the Summer Court. While Gadflow has undermined the Winter Court, he tries to keep their cycle in balance. You haven't been around much, have you? The Tuatha have been pressing west from their home in Alabastra. Right now, they're only threatening my people. But if we fall, the Tuatha will turn their eyes to the other mortal races. Titarian isn't quite what you'd expect from the High King of Summer. But he hasn't got the arrogance of his cousins, or their cheer. Ever since Gadflow killed the High King of Winter and started the war, Titarian has become distant and melancholy, and blind to the dangers around him. The Tuatha are a radical sect of Fae within the Winter Court, led by Gadflow and his insane rants about their new god. They've taken power and declared war on mortals. They use raw Prismia to enhance their power, and their devotion borders on madness. But the most terrifying thing to the Fae is simply the fact that their siblings have changed so completely. The Winter Court, or the Unseelie, embrace the destruction and decay of nature. They aren't evil, but they aren't exactly the best of friends. Normally they share power peacefully with the Summer Court. But since the Tuatha have seized power, there is neither peace nor predictability. We've known for a long time that Prismia crystals allow us to store and focus magical power. The gnomes use it in their grander inventions, when they can get it. But we have no idea how Gadflow got a hold of so much of it. It makes his Tuatha the most dangerous army I've ever seen. Lore Master Glional has devoted centuries to the study of lore and ancient Fae stories. The codex you found isn't just any lore stone. Just talk to him, and I'm sure he'll be able to shed some light on the issue. Be on your way.
You must be Lady Shear's friend. She speaks very highly of you. An occasion rare enough to be worth recording in its own right. But let's see this codex. Oh, nothing. This is no mere lawstone, you know. The Codex of Destiny is distilled knowledge from the High King of the Fae, given to the first Fate Weavers. To have such knowledge in your hands is a tremendous gift. But why did it reveal itself to you? Nonsense. All children of dust have a story that is written before you see your first dawn. Now, I can only make out some parts, but this is odd. The Codex speaks of an exception, a void, an end to the endless. This is simply too much. The High King would never pawn such absurdity off as wisdom. I'm sure you think it is. I fear you must have been taken in by a forgery. A perfectly created one, perhaps, but a forgery nonetheless. But this codex speaks of impossible things, changes to fate, death of the immortals, and other heresies. To ascribe these lies to the High King would be... I'm sorry, but I must ask you to take it away. I will have no part in these lies. As antiquarian, I'm keenly aware of the lesser ballads in Fey telling, and do my best to ensure that they're not lost in the wide river of time. I'm keeper of the Echo Stone here in the House of Ballads. It has only come to us recently, but I find its purpose most fascinating. It is a new relic crafted by several of our most attuned Fey mages. Usually the notion of new repels me, but in this case, I can't help but feel a spark of curiosity. The Echo Stone can be used like a lore stone to experience past narratives, stories that have long since left the lips of their tellers. However, one can only use the Echo Stone if he has the right matching cairn, a magical key devised by Hallam the White himself. He is an offense to our people. He upsets the natural order, and his war breaks the cycle. I will speak no more of him. We are the story that is told in every age, with different words, but the same meanings. We are the blazing summer and the brooding winter, forever following one another. We are, as we have always been and shall ever be, no more and no less. All of us in the Western Feylands are subjects of High King Tatarian. Our presence maintains the natural balance, bringing the green of spring at winter's end. The role of the storyteller is the most important to the Fey in the Court of Summer. He watches the telling as it unfolds. His gaze is not on one ballad, but all of them. His wisdom is above us all, even the lords and ladies of the House of Ballads. The High King guides us in all the grand telling of the Fey. For you, tales are naught but a reminder of your inevitable decline. But for the Fey, our tales are eternal reminders of our truest selves. Here we celebrate the very heart of our kind. The greatest of our tales, reborn and relived. Every creature has its story. The wake it leaves behind in its travel, that is a telling. It is a narrative of defeats and victories that give every life meaning. Our Fey telling goes on from creation deep into the hidden end. Until then, we celebrate the small songs, the ones that celebrate the spring in which we find ourselves. It's had a meaning to it. Only its author could tell you. Do not bother me with such foolishness again.
Lionel spends his life cherishing old stories, but show him something truly new, and he dismisses it. Tragic. No, I bet my blades that it's real. Lionel may be a very learned scholar, but it's been ages since he had to learn anything new. Most Fae don't take well to new ideas. If this old fool thinks the High King would never have written the Codex, then it's all the more important that the High King see it. Tatarian isn't like other Fae. I'm sure he'd be interested in you, even if you didn't have that codex. The only problem will be meeting him. His court is in the city of Isa, and few mortals are permitted to enter its gardens. I do know one individual who can allow you to enter, but you'll have to meet him alone. Nirelem is a private person, and he carries a grudge against me, although perhaps person isn't the right word for him, nor is him. You'll find him in southeast Dalantoth at Caer Nirelem. Just head towards the giant tree, and, well, you'll see. That codex isn't just a complicated lore stone. It seems to tell a tale most Fae don't want to hear, and created by High King Tatarian himself, no less. Interesting. None of us could have foreseen the rise of Gadflow and his army, but we should have, and now we're all facing the price. That old coward. He may have lived 100 heroic lives, but he's lost the moment he faces something truly new, pathetic. Neralem is the oldest living mortal. He remembers the time before even the Fae called these lands home. You should see how they cherish him. He rarely grants an audience to visitors. His tenders say he knows the future as well as the past. It makes him very particular about what he says. You'll have to meet him on your own. I'd accompany you, but Neralem and I have our disagreements. Good luck with Neralem, and ignore anything he says about me.